Hey folks, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and it's that time of year again where we are going to be giving you the Product of the Year awards. I'm Gene Delasala, president of Audioholics, and let's go over what we think are the best products that we reviewed in 2016. But before we get into that, you're going to notice our rewards don't have any receivers this year, any AV receivers. Part of the reason for that is I've personally feel in the last couple of years that the mid-price receivers in the $500 to $1,000 price range, they've kind of been compromised, in my opinion. They're overinflating power. They're throwing Atmos and all this other garbage at it that you don't really need in a $400 or $500 receiver. And as a result, they put all these stamps on the box, and what does that do? It shrinks the power supply. So you're getting less and less quality on the basics, so you can have more features. So honestly, I wasn't that impressed with any of the $1,000 receivers this year. I've tested a couple of them, and you know what? I'd rather have some of the older models, quite frankly. So we're going to move on to different categories, and we'll talk about that other stuff in another video. Anyways, our first category is Atmos processor. Now, there's been a lot of new processors out. Denon's got, Marantz has them. Anthem has them. Yamaha has them. Integra Research has them. We particularly spent some time with the Anthem AVM60, and it's about $3,000 retail, and it's got the latest HDMI 2.0. It does UHD, DTSX, Dolby Atmos, and actually DTSX is coming as a firmware upgrade. But we were really impressed with this product. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles of some of the other brands. It doesn't do all the network streaming, but you know what? It's got Anthem Arc 2 room correction, and we are big fans of that, especially now that they have a mobile app. This is a solid piece, guys. It looks great. It's easy to use. Their room correction actually works, and it doesn't do full bandwidth. It actually takes care of the bass frequencies, which is what we always want to have anyways. And it's got two subwoofer outputs, actually three subwoofer outputs. It's got a balanced one as well. So you could do a lot with this, and we recommend it for $3,000 if you want to get into Atmos. This is kind of the way to go. And it's, again, it's Anthem. We love Anthem and we love Arc. So moving on now, you're probably wondering what kind of an amplifier can you make with this? Well, believe it or not, I'm going to tell you, monoprice. The monolith 7-channel amplifier. I actually have the 2-channel in the bench right now. I've done some measurements on it. It measures great. It can't be a bad amplifier because ATI designed the amplifier for them. So it's based on a very solid time-tested design. And they took that module, they put it in different kinds, whether we want 2-channel, 3-channel, 5-channel, 7-channel. It's a solid amp. So for $1,500, you get 7 channels, 200 watts times 7. For $1,000, you get a 2-channel amp. Personally, I would get the 7-channel for an extra 500. At least power the front LCRs, and then you could always have extra amplification when you add Atmos or you expand your system. Their 7-channel amp is really worth it. Solid piece, excellent distortion, excellent power delivery, excellent crosstalk. About the only negative thing I could say about this product is the fact it doesn't have balanced inputs. But, if you're dealing with budget processors to begin with, some of those don't even have balanced outputs anyways. Not really a deal breaker unless you really want to do balanced all the way through. And at that point, you're going to have to spend a little bit more money and go with another brand. So maybe, who knows, maybe next year Monoprice will do an upgrade and they'll start putting balanced input connectors on them. Hint, hint. So anyways, guys, let's go on to headphones. We've been covering RBH's headphones in the last couple of years. We've been very impressed with them. The latest one is their Bluetooth. It's the HP1B. It's a wireless headset. It's noise isolating, not noise canceling. But you know what? This headset sounds great. It's got excellent sound quality, long battery life. It's only $200 retail with free shipping, and it is well worth it, guys. Some of the best sounding Bluetooth headphones we've heard this year. I would recommend checking them out. They have a very generous return policy if you don't like them. And check out our review and you can read more about it. We actually have real experience with traveling on airplanes with these. A lot of headphones you get on an airplane and there's always some weird stuff that goes on when you're trying to, put them in the case. They'll turn on without you wanting to, and then the battery drains. Or, just all this oddities where batteries don't last long enough when you're going on a long flight. Don't have that problem with the RBHs, guys. So it's really a time-tested design that you should check out. So now for Bluetooth speakers, we've tested a few Bluetooth speakers, and we were really happy with the Oppo Sonica Wi-Fi speaker. $300 retail. It has their own app, so you can set up all your streaming through their own app. You could do Bluetooth on it, It's got bass drivers. It's got mids and tweeters. It's gonna have a D-Rack room correction upgrade. We're gonna be testing it next year, so it'll even improve the sound on that. Let me tell you, I throw this thing in my garage sometimes, like when I was putting up the Christmas lights. Put it on my phone, started streaming music to it, and this thing filled up my garage with good sound. For $300, it's hard to beat. I've heard a lot of Bluetooth speakers costing double the price that don't sound as good as this. Check it out, guys. Oppo's not just for Blu-ray players and headphones anymore. They're getting serious about Wi-Fi speakers. So let's move on to the speaker category. That's the area we've been most impressed with this year. We find some of the major brands now are bringing the prices down to more affordability. They're knocking out some of the ID brands as a result. So you look at, for $900 a pair, Revel has their new Concerta 2 M16 bookshelf speakers. They have a 6.5-inch woofer and a 1-inch tweeter, and a waveguide on their tweeter, as Harman always does. And if you look at our review, you'll notice the measurements are excellent. They're textbook measurements for a bookshelf speaker. Their on-axis is flat and even, good off-axis performance that matches the on-axis. What that means is you put them in a room, you're going to get predictable results, especially if you have symmetry in your room with sidewalls and you can add the reflections from the sidewalls. And we just found that these are a really good speaker. They're moderately efficient. They pair well with a subwoofer, and for $900 a pair, they're hard to beat. They look great. They have magnetic grills. Guys, take a serious look at Revel this year because we're impressed with that line. It's the Concerta 2s. So now if you want to move on to more of a budget pair of speakers, you can't afford $900 a pair, we've really been happy with the new ELACs. ELAC has Andrew Jones on board, and he's famous for his budget speakers he did with Pioneer, and he's also famous for his very expensive speakers he did with TAD. Well, this guy is really good at making cheap speakers sound good. And the B5 bookshelves are $229 a pair. They perform really well, guys. They're not the most attractive speaker on the planet, but for under $250 a pair, you'll be hard pressed to find better sound than them. Check them out. We recommend them. If you want to go to the next model up for a little bit more bass, a little bit more money, go to the B6. We recommend that if you're not going to mate them with a subwoofer. So now let's go to towers. We've got the Golden Ear Triton 7 tower. They're $1,400 a pair shipped. And these guys have two 5.25-inch cast basket woofers, two 8-inch passives, and they have their famous AMT tweeter that's in their flagship speakers. And we reviewed these. We were impressed with the sound. They had a very balanced sound, usable bass extension down to 29 hertz. They don't stick out like an eyesore. They're a very slim tower. And for $1,400 a pair, they're a good buy. And I think you should check out their line. They also have their Balance Force subwoofers we've been very impressed with. Check out Golden Ear, my friends. So now let's move on to subwoofers. We got two subwoofers. We got the uber expensive, not too expensive, but reasonably expensive, at least for ID. Super size though. It's the SVS PB16 Ultra. SVS is not a company that rests on their laurels. Their SB13 series was a great sub, but they knew that there's some other brands out there that have bigger and louder subs. So they said, well, okay, we're going to put everyone in checkmate. They're redesigned. They have a new 16-inch driver. They have one specifically for the ported version, which is the PB16 Ultra, and then one for the sealed version, which is the SB16 Ultra. Both of these subs shatter our extreme bassaholic rating, which means they have a lot of output. If you've got the ability to take in a large space and you're not going to have a problem with having a huge black box in the corner of your room, go with the PB16 Ultra. This is especially true if you're going to mate it with a pair of speakers that have usable bass extension down to like 60 hertz, whether it's a floor standard or a large bookshelf speaker. Go with the PB16 Ultra. However, if you're going to go with a small satellite system and you want more usable output above 80 hertz, I would recommend going with the SB16 Ultra. It's a little cheaper, it's smaller, the driver parameters are a little bit different, so they have more output in the 60 to about 120 hertz range. Give you a better blend with smaller speakers, and then you could actually get two of them since they're smaller and they're a little cheaper. Either way, you're not going to lose out with either of these subs. These are solid performers, guys. Incredible engineering. They look great. They're built like a tank. And all I can say is you better have a friend to help you move these things because they're very heavy. I would not try to attempt this myself, especially if you're going up a flight of steps. $2,500 shipped for the PB16 Ultra. Good deal, guys. So now for budget subs, there's a lot of great subwoofers in the $500 price category now. from SVS, HSU, Rhythmic, a bunch of guys out there, right? But what about for 400 shipped? Well, it was unheard of really to get this kind of performance until RSL came along with their Subwoofer 10S. This thing is impressive, guys. We were very happy with this, with the sound quality of it, with the measurements of it. It's a small sub, $400 shipped. You should get two of them, not one. Get two. You know we always preach multi-sub because you get better bass distribution in your room. You get a wider area where people can have very similar sounding bass. Nothing better than having two subs. Well, actually there is four, but two is almost as good. And at $400 shipped, you could definitely save your pennies and get two of these. It's the Subwoofer 10S, $400 ship from RSL. Take a look at them. They've got great little speakers that go along with it as well. Family-owned company. We love them. And that's about it, guys. So we covered all the speakers. We covered the Wi-Fi speakers. We covered some headphones. That's about it this year. We focused more on tech articles this year. We didn't go crazy with all the reviews. But next year, you could bet we are going to hit the receivers harder. We're going to keep these guys honest, and hopefully we'll get to see some media amplifier sections in these receivers coming out. So anyways, guys, I hope you like the list. Comment below what you think are the best products for 2016, and let us know what you want to hear us review next on our YouTube channel. All right, guys, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and until next time, keep listening.